Good boy. Good boy. My little otter. All right, we have arrived at Balsam Lake. You can see we actually got the tent set up already. John's just pegging in everything. We are on site 559 in Hawthorne. This is a radio generator free. There's a fence back there. That's actually where the road is. Now, this is the part of Hawthorne that is still open. A lot of Hawthorne is actually still closed due to the ice storm damage. And you can see, even looking at the trees here, like you can see the damage throughout the park. It is, some places are hit much harder than others. It's not too bad here, which makes sense why they opened the site, but there is definitely some damage, and we will take a bit of video for you later to show you some of the harder hit areas. But we've got our trusty Kuma tent set up, and now we're going to get the pens and the Kuma shelter. All right, and time to go visit the dog beach. Now, this is not Lucifer's first time here. He came here as a little puppy, but the first time we were here was shortly after we adopted him, and he was, I'm gonna say, deathly afraid of water and waves. Things have obviously changed since then, but we are excited to bring him back and let him check out this beach once again. So we are heading into the dog beach area. So this is the dog beach area. Plenty of pups here. We've got a little quiet corner for ourselves, Goose and I. I forgot his long line, but I remembered the ball. So I'm going in the water too. Let's go, Goose. Go, buddy, go. I can't deny him fetch time, so I just have to go in each time with him until, well, as far as the leash requires. But he loves his fetch time. He's a happy boy.
Wow! Come on, move along. I said, baby, I know you're on a roll. Sweet honey, let's take it real slow. You know we got what you need, baby, so take it, move along. I said we got what you need, honey, come and groove along. Come on. Rolling on the highway, you know. Wow! Come on, and groove along. Come on.
And after an afternoon at the dog beach, we've got a fire rolling, the puppers. You can see Willow over there, Lucifer down here. He likes to be under our table for some reason. Have their chews, and little Miss Thea fast asleep in her pen over here. Cheers.
Yeah.
Okay, so our fire pit leaves a little bit to be desired. Hey, Lucifer. We got a big hole here, although that just lets the air in, so we're okay with it. It helps the flames. But as John will show you, the grill here is attached on one side, but not on the other. So, and it's also on a very big angle. So cooking on that, not such a thing. However, we brought
6-pack.
the 6-pack and we're still cooking on the fire because you know what? Yeah, make it work. Well, all good things come to an end, and it is pack-up day. As you can see, we're sorting everything out of the vehicle, back into the vehicle. We have Miss Thea's over here. We'll come say hi to her. She's busy watching the birds and the squirrels. Oh, I'm sorry, did I disturb your bird watching? Yeah. And the puppers are over here. Hi, Willow. Hi, Lucifer. They just got fed, so they're happy puppers right now. Say hi, John.
I am one of the dogs.
But we've got a lot still to pack up here. One thing I did want to shout out is that having the car top carrier, once again, we haven't used it in a little while, gives us a ton of extra room back in here so that we're not all crammed in. And for anyone who's, because we get this question a lot about how we fit everything in, you can see we put down one of the 3 back seats and the dogs share the other 2, and that just gives us some more leverage. I mean, the cat doesn't take up much space, her carrier is pretty small, so that is one of our little quick tips. But I'm gonna get back to helping pack. Right, puppers? Lucifer thinks he's helping. Always the helper dog. So we just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the incredible damage that has happened here at the park from the recent ice storms. So many of you might have gotten cancellation notices. This is the path into the eco sites right now. But even looking off the path and looking into the brush, it is just crazy. We noticed there are several areas that are currently closed. Half of Hawthorne, Poplar, the eco sites, and group camping are all still closed at this time. All the trails are still closed. But for them to have done the work that they've done in order to be in other places here around the park, just huge commend to the workers and the effort they have put in, because this is what they're dealing with. And it is just, it's so sad. Like you can see over there, trees literally pulled up from the root just from the weight of the ice. So kudos to those who have put the effort into it. And just be patient. If you're somebody who has had a cancellation or you're coming here and you wanted to go hiking, be patient with them. They are working so hard for this park to even be open. All right, so you guys just saw our trip to Balsam. It was a shorter trip, so we didn't show a whole lot, but our main reason for going there, because we have been to Balsam previously, was to go back and be able to share with you guys the dog beach, because that is something that a lot of people recommend. The last time we went, this little guy was only 4 months old, so it's been a while. But let's get started with our review, and you can start.
Okay, so getting there. So basically, if you're coming up from the Toronto area, you'd be taking the 404 north, and that's roughly about 2 hours. And from Aurelia, it's about 45 minutes east from Aurelia. So yeah, not too far of a jump from those 2 areas.
No, it's a good close one for those of you who are in the Toronto area, and I know we do have quite a few followers who are. As far as campsites go, there is really kind of something for everybody there. There's waterfront sites, electrical sites, non-electrical sites. There are some that are more private. There are some that are more open if you prefer a more social camping experience. In total, there are 7 campgrounds plus the eco sites, which is like an 8th campground kind of, but they're walk-in. The eco sites are pet-free, so if you're taking your pets, that's not an option, but there are many other options there. There's also a cottage as far as roofed accommodations. Unfortunately, it too is pet-free. So, eco sites and the roofed accommodations aren't going to work if you're traveling with a pet, but that still leaves, as I said, 7 campgrounds worth of campsites that include everything from beautiful water access, waterfront sites, through to overly social, almost like a big field of campers all together, and on the outsides, kind of where we are, much more private, in the trees type sites. So there is something for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for hiking, unfortunately at that time, in July, we were unable to go hiking with our guys. The trails were pretty much closed, but there is the Lookout Trails, which is 2.1 kilometers, and the Woodland Trails, which is 4.2. We're not sure if they're open now due to the ice storm.
Probably are. I'm going to assume
will be open for next season.
I'm going to assume for this season they've done the repairs necessary to open them.
So,
but they were still just trying to overcome. I mean, there was whole sections, as you saw in our video, of the campgrounds that were also closed. The damage there was pretty severe. So the trails were kind of a lower priority than getting those campsites open for people. So they hadn't done that yet when we were there. But I've heard great things about the hiking if you're looking just for like a nice casual, like they're not overly challenging, just a nice hike to get out and stretch your legs and exercise the more active of the puppers, like this one. But if hiking's not your thing, they also have a lot of opportunities for boating. You're right on the lake there. There is rentals for those who don't have them, canoes, kayaks, paddle boards if you have your own, or if you have a motorized boat. You can get out there and enjoy the waters. We saw quite a few people out on the water. We were only there for a short time, so we didn't get out this time. But it is a beautiful place to go just get out, go paddling, and enjoy some water time with your pets. Of course, with water and boating and paddling comes...
So fishing! So the big fish at Balsam Lake are walleye, muskie, and large and smallmouth bass.
And then, of course, there's the water activity that brought us there in the first place, which is swimming. Balsam is known for having a really nice dog beach. So their beach is a big, long stretch, and then the one end is the dog-friendly area. It comes down just kind of a line and then comes around the corner. Now, as you saw in the video, we ran around the corner where it was a little bit more private. I don't know if these women are going to see our videos, if they watch our videos, but there was a group of women sitting in the water there. For those who don't know, Lucifer is a bit of a nervous pup. He came to us from a traumatic situation, and because of that, men are scary to him. And when I explained that to the women who were there, they almost acted like a buffer, and they kept him safe, and it allowed him to really just enjoy himself. So, like I said, I don't know if you ladies do watch the video. I didn't get names. I'm sorry, I didn't want to ruin your experience either by troubling you with a whole lot of talk and trying to figure out who you were. But if by chance you happen to be watching this video, I want you to know that you really did make the experience so much more comfortable for him. He felt relaxed knowing he had that buffer of women there, and it, like, you could see it in his body language. So a shout out to them. That said, that little area down at the very end tends to be a little quieter. That's where we went last time we went there. That's where we went this time. But just off the beach in the grass area there at the end, there are a lot of red ants. They were there when we went back in 2021, and they were there again on this trip in 2025. So they're clearly not going anywhere. They are there. Just be prepared for that. If you are bringing stuff, I wouldn't sit it at the ground there at the end. Maybe if you're bringing like a chair or something that'll elevate them off the ground, you could sit your stuff on it, but I definitely wouldn't put anything down there. I know I made that mistake. And when I picked up my bag and threw my bag back on, I wound up with a red ant bite right here. So I would caution against that. But it is a nice little private area down at the end versus the section of beach closer to the human area. There was a lot of dogs there, but they were all kind of playing with each other. It's a much more social area. So that kind of gives those two options, depending on what your dog likes. There are also limited waterfront sites that you could swim right off the water. So if you're concerned about going to a dog beach because maybe your dog is reactive or afraid of other dogs or afraid of people, and it just feels like a little bit too much because it is a busier beach than some of the others we've covered. The other option is to try and get a waterfront site, but there's not a lot of them. So In that case, I would kind of lean towards maybe just going to the dog beach and more of an off time. Like when we went on the Saturday and it was quite busy. There was a lot of people there. And then we also went on the Sunday. We packed up our whole campsite. And then after the time that people had to be out of their sites, people tend to leave. Whereas we kind of stuck around and it was a lot quieter for that swim. So you kind of have that option too, of working around when it's busier, when it's quieter, to enjoy that space. But the dog beach itself is a beautiful spot. And so if you're trying to book based on parks with a dog beach, it has the Lucifer stamp of approval.
All right, which brings us to our favorite topic and Will's favorite topic, because she loves fire, is the firewood. So we didn't grab any firewood from outside the park this time.
Like we said, it was a short little weekend trip, so we just grabbed parkwood.
Yeah.
The parkwood debate, I mean, we've had worse parkwood.
We've had worse parkwood. We had better parkwood. It was pretty much in the middle level there for the firewood. But like going back in 2025, like last year, parkwood was like really good. It surprised us. So, but Balsam Lake firewood, pretty much average stuff. So.
That said, if you're somebody who goes to Balsam often and you have a place that you like to get firewood outside of the park, hi Willow, drop it in the comments. Willow would like to know so that if we go back, we have a place to go, because she loves nothing more than to just lounge by the fire and enjoy the heat. So just share that in the comments. Let people know of your go-to area to get firewood when you're at Balsam. Okay, so we had to pause for a second because apparently puppies all wanted up and it was a whole thing and the camera was going and I mean, when you're filming with dogs, you can only control so much. But as far as rating goes, so we rate on a paw system here. So it is out of 5 paws. And with 5 being the absolute best, we wouldn't change anything at a park, to 0 being we absolutely cannot recommend it and don't think you should go. I want to preface this by saying we have had 2 not so pleasant experiences at Balsam that are no fault of the park. So when we went back in 2021, the site that we were at, our tent was right up by the road, and we had somebody actually running up and down. Well, I guess he wasn't running, he was stumbling up and down the road with a knife in his hand, screaming at people and slashing tires to the point that the police had to be called. So that really put a bad taste in our mouth about the park then. And then there was a huge party beside us with a bunch of underage teens, and the wardens were back and forth with that, trying to deal with it, and there was nobody even of age on the site. It was just this huge thing. So it took us a few years to go back to Balsam after that, just because it's hard sometimes to look past that experience and see that isn't the park. That was just that experience. Then when we came this time, there was somebody who brought his saw and it was cutting down trees and got caught for it. Another guy cutting down trees with an axe. There was another party going on our loop. All of this to say that park seems to be a little bit more active than we generally choose for a park. We like that quieter experience, that more nature-focused experience, and both times, while I will say that you probably aren't going to have somebody slashing your tires, like I'm not saying that's the normal there, but it is a much more busy park. There seems to be a lot more of the social aspect, which is some people's style of camping. It's just not ours. There is also, and I feel like we have to address this because it's been all over the Facebook groups, there has been a big theft problem at Balsam this past year. People going on to people's campsites and taking their things. So that is also something to just kind of consider. It didn't happen to us.
No.
But we saw many, many people sharing stories of what they went through and reporting back about that, specifically in 2025. So that tends to come with a busier park. More people, more activity, more problems. All of that considered, and then looking at the fact that it is still a really pretty park and it is a really nice dog beach, I think I'd have to give it a 3. Kind of right down there in the middle.
Pretty much right in the middle there. Yeah.
Like, I would go again for a weekend just to enjoy the dog beach, but I wouldn't plan a long trip there. It's just too busy and we wouldn't relax the way we would want to.
Okay. So with that, yeah, so 3.
All right, so 3 paws out of 5 for Balsam Lake. If you are not already subscribed to us, we are finishing off some of our parks. So we really dropped the ball at the end of last year, which was partially us, partially technology, partially changes here in our business and our home. But that said, we are going to be doing a lot more videos coming up. Not just reviews, but we're going to start sharing some tips, some information, some ways we do things, some gear reviews, just more videos, more information for all of you, but you don't want to miss that. So hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell. It'll tell you when we put out a new video. Also, not to bring down the mood of anything, but we want to dedicate this video to one of our sweet adventure cats. If you follow us on social, you already know, but we had to help Pippin cross the Rainbow Bridge in December, which is part of the reason why there wasn't any videos coming out for a while there. She was 17 years old. You guys have seen her in some of our videos in the past. If you go to this video that I'll tag right here, you can see her camping at Arrowhead. And she loved being out. She loved being unleashed. She loved meeting people. She met a lot of you out at that park because she would literally walk down the park road and meet everybody along the way. So I just want to dedicate this video to her and to give her that little shout out because I feel like she really does deserve it and she deserves that acknowledgement and that recognition. She was such a sweet little cat. And we want to thank everybody who did come and pet her and get to know her and love on her with us. So this one's for you, Miss Pip. Make sure you subscribe. Our next video will actually be a hip camp find.
Yes.
So if you're looking for places outside of the provincial parks, make sure to stay tuned for our next video.
And saying that, stay toasty.